One of my favorite kinds of Easter eggs are the ones teasing upcoming projects. I don't know why, it's just fascinating to see Easter eggs that sometimes only make sense in hindsight, you know? And the company most famous for doing this is Pixar, as ever since Monsters Inc., well, some people say Toy Story and Toy Story 2, but in both cases I feel like these are kind of stretched, so let's just say Monsters Inc. Every Pixar film since Monsters Inc. has included a reference to an upcoming film, so let's go through them today, shall we? In Monsters Inc., there are 3 different points in the film where you can see a clownfish, an obvious reference to Finding Nemo, wherein there is a kid reading a comic book with Mr. Incredible on it. In The Incredibles, you could see Doc Hudson from Cars. But Cars is tricky, because, well, I've heard it said that the fact that there's a picture of the Eiffel Tower is the Ratatouille reference, but I have to say, this one, I'm not too sure if this is an intentional Ratatouille reference, because I don't know, it just seems a little too generic of a picture of the Eiffel Tower. Usually these things are a bit more obvious, so I don't know. Do you think this should count? I don't know. Let's just move on. In Ratatouille, at one point you can see Wally's cockroach pet, and even more notably, it includes a reference to the upcoming film, as in the film coming out after the next film. Confused? Yeah. Which is that at one point you can see the shadow of Doug from Up. Anyway, in Wall-E you can see Carl's walking stick. In Up, Lotso from Toy Story 3 appears. In Toy Story 3 you can see a picture of Finn from Cars 2. In Cars 2 there's a carified version of the tapestry from Brave. In Brave there's a carving of Sully referencing Monsters University, and it would end up becoming one of the biggest points of speculation for theorists. Monsters University is interesting because, well, I've heard it said that the fact that there's a unicorn on this journal is an Inside Out reference since there's a unicorn in that movie, but I don't know. Like with the Cars thing, usually these things are more obvious, and this one feels a little too subtle and kind of a stretch for me. But despite not really having an obvious Inside Out reference, it does include a good dinosaur reference, as toy versions of the characters appear in one point. Anyway, in Inside Out, there are statues of good dinosaur characters. In The Good Dinosaur, Hank from Finding Dory is seen in the river. In Finding Dory, there's a Band-Aid with Lightning McQueen on it. In Cars 3, we can see the town from Coco at one point. In Coco, there's a skeleton version of The Incredibles, in reference to Incredibles 2. In Incredibles 2, a toy of Duke Kaboom from Toy Story 4 is seen. In Toy Story 4, the art scene on the side of the van from Onward is seen on a bounce house. In Onward, the Soul Easter egg is on the CD. In Soul, there's an advertising agency for the town Luca takes place in. In Luca, you can see the Italian translation of the boy band from Turning Red. In Turning Red, there's a sticker of socks from Lightyear. In Lightyear, there's a water bottle with the name of the main character from Elemental. In Elemental, there are a few Inside Out Easter eggs. And finally, in Inside Out 2, you can see the silhouette of the main character from Elio. I don't know how to end this video. Goodbye. Remember, keep a sharp eye out. You never know what a seemingly minor detail is actually foreshadowing another movie. Farewell.